Hey, what is up guys? My name is Alex and today we're back with another F1 22 My Team video. Last time around we were in Australia where we had a huge shunt in qualifying and another crash in the race itself with our maybe soon to be rival. But we did manage to get a pretty solid comeback and we finished above our qualifying position. So make sure to go check that one out. It was a really good one. And today we're going into Imola in our first ever sprint race. It's going to rain for the sprint race, so it's going to give a pretty interesting twist for the race. But I think it's gonna be a good one. I have prepared a little bit, so let's get into the practice sessions and then let's move on to the race. So doing the practice session here, I'd like to just show the first one because we had insane luck. So you can see how I went with the 50% one all of the times, but I didn't do the whole thing because I felt like it would be pretty boring to watch. So I felt like just jumping on to qualifying would be a little better choice. And finishing up our first qualifying run, it's looking pretty steady. We are just making some decent progress and DRS on here across the line. We'll go fastest actually. So I was pretty surprised, but we do get knocked down a bit later. But I don't think we're gonna go out again because me in P5 in this ship box and my teammate being in P21 seems a bit unfair. I think the AI is just a bit low, so I'll actually higher the AI for the race, and hopefully it'll be a bit closer for the. So I'll skip Q2 and let's go on to the sprint race.
It's wet here today and we're expecting those downpours to continue. This will make for a difficult sprint for all the teams. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Norris, Ricciardo, Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Yuki Tsunoda, and Gasly, Albon, Alexander, Mick Schumacher, and Sebastian Vettel, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Joe, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
So lining up here on the grid again, we are starting in P16 behind Albon, and we're lining up on the grid and it's pretty decent, getting 0.2 meters off the line, and 3 lights are on, 4, 5, and the lights are on for a while, and it's lights out and away we go, and it's a pretty decent start for us. But you can see how much wheel spin we're getting there in the back, and Albon does keep the position. Stroll gets a mega start and he flies ahead of us. He flies into the distance, but we are looking for the gap that we're gonna send it down inside. Maybe get ahead of Gasly as well, but we don't. So we're in P15 now, and Stroll did get ahead of us. So we were 3 wide over there, but we do get ahead. So we're up into P15, and it's a great start for us. And we are going to try to make up more positions, but right now we're just fighting to make up some positions. We're in P16 as we actually lost some position to Stroll. But I still don't have the footage as we send it down inside there. And Gasly just turns in on us, but we are still ahead of him. And just fighting our way through Max Verstappen with the fastest lap. But Gasly is not afraid to get us again in this full wet condition. So he's just gonna go here and he's gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. ERS is on. He's gonna go for the around the outside. And he's gaining, he's almost fully ahead of us, so we send it back in. He just turns in on us, and that could have been a massive crash, but the AI just seems to turn in on the no matter what you do. So here again on lap 2, we're going to try to make up a position, because I was thinking of getting ahead of Stroll here as well, but it's not looking good at all. But we're gaining, we're not even close as Gasly was to us, but we're still gonna send it down the inside, and we do not really get to. We make contact again, and thank God we didn't get damaged, because that would have been the end of the session. But lap off for Gasly and Stroll are fighting really hard up the road as we get a huge snap of oversteer. We get on the ground, we try to correct it as Albon get ahead of us, and we're just gonna have to try to defend our teammate as well. We do not want to sink down into P18, but that is us down a place, as we are just gonna fight to get up ahead again. But here we are on lap 5. It's the final lap, and Albon is just a bit ahead of us. He blocks the inside as we go around the outside with a little dummy. We go over those curbs. So it's F1 2021 all over again. Max versus Lewis, but we do get ahead of him, which could have been very, very crucial, but still a pretty disappointing race. But we're finishing up the race in P16, and that is us in P16 for tomorrow.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé. Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters wearing red today, and they've all turned out for what we're expecting will be a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One tracks as it's taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit, and its only DRS zone. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Esteban Ocon, and Russell. Norris, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Valtteri Bottas, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Lance Stroll, and Gasly, Alexander, Oscar Piastri, Sebastian Vettel, and Mick Schumacher. Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty. Joe, Latifi, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? They've had to change their gearbox, of course, but it's never a good start to a Grand Prix when right off the bat you have to contend with a grid penalty.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
So here we are for the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo De Dino Ferrari Grand Prix. We're going with the soft medium. I was thinking about the medium soft because it went really great in Jeddah, but I also felt like the race starts here are pretty difficult, so I'm not gonna go for it. Lining up on the grid, you can see it's already looking really sketchy. I was thinking about lining up so I could just go forwards the whole straight, but we only got 1.1, which is pretty disappointing. I was wishing we could do something better. And yeah, it's lights out and away we go, and it's like I said, a very bad start. We're sliding all over the track, making some contact with Vettel, and we are going to try to get around the outside here. Not really 3 wide here this time, but you can see there up the road Charles Leclerc in P11 struggling to get ahead. Yuki, Tsunoda, and Stroll jumping ahead of him, but we are going to try to go around the outside on Gasly. We're behind him the whole last race, but I feel we have so much more pace than the Gasly in this race. We're just gonna send it down the inside on Gasly, and we can make the move up into P12 as we crash, and that's into the wall, and we're out of the Imola race. That is us in the wall for our first race ever. And you can see here another angle, we're sending it into the inside, and I think we just drifted into Gasly a little bit. I feel though like he could have left us a bit more space. But you can see here on Gasly's POV that he also sends it down the inside on the Alfa Romeo, and he just goes straight on here. But yeah, I feel like I could have gotten a bit more space there from him, but that's unfortunate. It's our 4th race ever and we're already in the wall, so it's unfortunate, but yeah, it sucks.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here. And after this round of the World
So that is Sergio Perez taking over the championship lead in the standings. It's looking very interesting in the standings actually. We can see here that in the standings it's looking a bit interesting. You can see Sergio Perez leaving with just a few points, and Red Bull have a pretty big advantage. But yeah, we're in P15 I think in the standings, yeah, and our team is currently 9th. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, then make sure to drop a like, and I'll see ya in the next one.